On this episode of Evolving Humans, another installment of the Channeling Project. Join us for a discussion about the importance of our relationship with ourselves, developing our self-awareness, the power of breath, and much more. Enjoy. Welcome to Evolving Humans, the podcast for awakening souls. I'm your host, Julia Marie. Settle in and get ready for another spirited conversation. Oh, we are here. You may begin.
Thank you for being here today. Would you say that the most important relationship we have is the one with ourselves? And do you feel prioritizing ourselves is not selfish, but rather a necessary act of self-care?
Would it be on this planet that you all focused your attention on who in reality you are? You, at the human level, are intently focused on your physical body or physical reality, and for the most part you overlook the part of you that is primarily responsible for all that exists in the material plane. Speaking about the human aspect of your being, if you would undertake a program of better self-care, being more gentle with yourself, silencing the self-judgment when you become aware of it, changing your negative thought patterns, or challenging your own belief systems about who and what you truly are, this world would be a very different place. We know that as each of you moves ever so slightly in the direction of bettering your own relationship with yourself, you do indeed better the relationship of the collective with itself. You can rest assured that your efforts at self-care make a distinct difference in how you perceive yourself and indeed how you move in the world. Each and every one of you has an intrinsic value, and that intrinsic value is not to be dismissed, denied, or denigrated. Speak to yourself with loving kindness and be patient. We have said much of this to you in the past, but all of it bears repeating. For as humans, you are expert at putting both yourself and each other down. And you have grown lax in your ability or capability to be kind and considerate with both yourself and each other. There is truly no place in this world for the cruelty, the hatred, and the lack of care both for yourself and for others that exists here, and yet exist it does. Again, that is the operation of what we would call a disruptive cycle in the evolution of the human condition. By taking that simple step of showing kindness to yourself, you can begin to heal the world and the relationship between you and others, as well as the relationship between larger segments of your population. Still it exists, the illusion that you are separate. And it is that singular thing that is the greatest impediment to the collective successfully moving forward. So the short answer here would be yes, self-care is important. Be more kind and gentle with yourself, and allow that same compassion to resonate out to those around you. That is our response.
Thank you. What results from developing a deep sense of self-awareness?
If you understood the power of becoming aware on a daily basis of more of who you are, you would be able to change yourself forever. Your current state of awareness, for the most part, is that you are a human being born into this world to suffer, to endure tragedies, to overcome obstacles, to struggle with each other, until finally the struggle is over and you are free to leave your human body. You fail, for the most part, to realize that your human body, although it is indeed a microcosm or a representation of the entire universe or all of creation, you look upon it many times as a distraction, as almost as an enemy, one could say. And yet, if you would befriend your physical body and understand its purpose in the grander scheme of things, through focusing your awareness on the center of your chest, where your heart center is, where your light, the light of your own divinity, resides. Simply focusing your attention on that part of your body and breathing in and out of that space, bringing your awareness to how it feels to touch your own light with your breath. And then over time, as that light strengthens, you begin to expand that light that is your light out in all directions around you. You may find yourself transforming your own beingness. Self-awareness, in its purest form, is pure awareness itself. And that is what you are. You are awareness, either in an expanded state or an exceedingly contracted state. But your awareness and the level of awareness with which you move in the world determines your perspective on all of the circumstances that you find yourself in. Therefore, if you are able to expand your awareness and move through your daily circumstances from that place, how you respond to what you encounter will be different. So we will repeat it. Self-awareness in its truest form, its purest form, is awareness itself. Unmoving, immutable, unchanging, ever-expanding awareness. And within this field of awareness that you may call God, or the universe, or the infinite mind, there you are at the center of this awareness. And when you can be in that place in a state of peace, you are home. So the process of self-awareness that leads to awareness of self, self at its fullest expression of its grandest potential, leads you home. It will take you back in consciousness to your place of origin, and in that moment you will be at peace. So we would encourage you to practice that simple exercise of sitting quietly and breathing into your heart space. Breathe your life force into your heart space where that light is. Seeing that light expand and grow brighter with every breath until your own light fills your physical body. And then use your awareness to see if you can determine any changes in how it feels to be in your physical body in that moment. That begins a process of shifting your self-awareness so that it can then begin to expand to include other aspects of who you are in truth. And that is what we would say.
Thank you. In what ways does introspection open doors to healing and transformation?
The opening of the doors would be contingent upon the level of truth and honesty one would have with oneself when one is practicing looking within. So if one continues to buy the story that one is telling oneself, there's not likely to be any kind of growth or development. However, if you truly wish to be in truth and integrity with yourself as you look within or look at yourself, then there is room for you to grow. Then there is the possibility of opening doorways to healing. But we would add that it is highly likely that with the introspection you will also need to be willing to practice forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself, forgiveness of others, in order to facilitate the process of opening the doors.
Thank you. Can you talk about how, by nurturing a compassionate bond with ourselves, we create the foundation for a life filled with authenticity and purpose?
We would say to you, if you cannot give it to yourself, how can you give it to another? And that would be key here. If you are not able to have compassion for your human nature and patience with your human aspect, how can you then be expected to live a life, as you say, of authenticity and purpose? For if you are out of alignment with who you are in truth, your life as well will be out of balance. If you come to understand truly at a physical level that you are more than your body, that there is an aspect of your being, an aspect of your awareness that is greater than the mind that is housed inside of the human brain. When you cross that threshold, you begin to expand into your true potential as a soul incarnated here at this time. And so we would encourage you, each of you, to, again, be kinder to yourself and, frankly, expect more of yourself than you currently do. We are not saying be cruel or unkind to yourself, but what we are saying is give yourself credit for more than you may be consciously aware of when it comes to your skills and abilities or who you perceive yourself to be.
Thank you. Can you explain the importance of creating healthy boundaries and of consciously choosing where to direct our attention and energy as an act of self-love?
How often have you said yes to a situation or said yes to a request from someone and then immediately berated yourself for having said yes? This is an indication you have crossed perhaps an unconscious boundary that you did not realize you had set, or in the alternative, it's an indication that there needs to be some sort of a boundary established. And when you responded in the affirmative, that tells you where your boundary is. So the best thing that you can do is then to look at the next situation that arises. And instead of immediately responding, take a breath and give yourself time to feel into whether or not that is crossing a boundary that you have consciously or unconsciously established for yourself as to what you are willing to do for another. Maintaining these boundaries is not selfish. It is indeed an aspect of your self-care. For you cannot be all things to all people, and you must first be present for yourself. And you must learn to honor and respect your needs as a human. What do you need to move forward on your path, to feel you have a place in this world, to feel that you are appreciated. For many of you, it is simple as being able to say no to someone you normally say yes to. So we would always encourage you to start out small and move to the more difficult boundaries that you may or may not need to set or maintain.
Thank you. It has been said that if you want to live an authentic, meaningful life, you need to master the art of disappointing and upsetting others, hurting feelings, and living with the reality that some people just won't like you. It may not be easy, but it's essential if you want your life to reflect your deepest desires, values, and needs. Can you please share your thoughts on this?
Do not think that statement would then give you permission to be cruel to another or to act without consciousness in any given situation. Knowing that from time to time, in order to remain true to your own authentic self, you will need to disappoint another is indeed part of the human experience, at least for now, until such time as you all learn how to interact with each other in a way that does not damage the other. And also that you will not allow yourself to be knocked off balance by someone else's words or actions. If you remain cognizant of the fact that in this ideal world, they are simply maintaining their alignment with their integrity and their true self, then there is nothing here to dispute. It is your own thought patterns, your own belief system that creates the filters that will set in motion the upset within you or the upset within the other person. Either way, your only responsibility is to yourself and the manner with which you interact with the other person. If you have not been intentionally cruel or mean, how they choose to respond to it is not your business. That is not your problem. That is an indication to them that they may still have some work to do in that area for themselves. You are not necessarily the one who precipitated that response if you are coming from a place of sincerity and authenticity yourself in the first place. So do you understand the distinction here?
Yes.
Good.
What are ways one can cultivate a sense of inner calm and focus when in the midst of perceived chaos in our lives?
With your breath and focusing on the light within you that is your own divinity. Remove your focus immediately from all that is around you and bring your attention focus your awareness on the truth of the light that lies within you. That is your divinity. That is your divine spark. That is all that matters in this world. Maintaining your focus on that as you move through these circumstances that may appear to be chaotic, that is your best strategy. And so that is how we would suggest that you would overcome the imbalance that could come if you are too involved with or engaged with the energies that you are calling chaos around you. Immediately turn within, stop what you are doing, be still, breathe, and know that you are divinity and that you have a connection that will guide you if you allow it the opportunity to do so.
That's helpful. Thank you. Can you explain why letting go of external distractions is essential for nurturing our inner peace?
The goal would be to be able to maintain a state of peace in the midst of what you are calling distractions. At the beginning of one's path or one's development of that skill to be at peace in the world, it may be challenging for you to ignore the call of your phone or other technology. So you may have to exercise a free will choice to separate yourself physically from those distractions and use your intent to focus on that inner light in order to strengthen, develop, and foster a sense of peace that eventually would come to a place where no matter where you were in the world, you would be able to maintain that vibration, that frequency. For, like everything else, peace is indeed a vibration. And you can hold that frequency for yourself given enough practice.
Thank you. In what ways can we cultivate self-compassion, and why is that so important?
Well, the first thing to do would be to focus your awareness on your thoughts and set your intention to notice throughout the day how often your negative self-talk has input. You would probably be shocked to learn that you are criticizing yourself more often than you are having compassion for your human condition. So the first step would be acknowledging that you are more cruel than kind to yourself, if this is an issue for you. And secondly, the second part of that would be to choose a way to reframe that criticism in a way that allows you to demonstrate more compassion for yourself. Even if you do it in the form of an affirmation or journaling or any other kind of exercise, the more you repeat the writing over of these negative comments, the more you will raise your vibration, and you will eventually, hopefully, come to a place where you will be detached from the need to continue to browbeat yourself for what is more likely than not a situation that was cultivated or planted. The seeds were planted for it when you were a child and you were not able to soothe yourself in a way that was helpful. So indeed, the wiser part of you, your divine spark, does have compassion for the human aspect that is struggling to find its way in this world, especially during this time of transition. So the more gentle you can be with yourself, the easier it will be for you to move forward.
Thank you.
Well, that's our time for today. I'm grateful for your continued support of Evolving Humans. If you need guidance, want to reconnect with a loved one living on the other side of life, or could use some energy healing, please go to juliamarie.us and click the Book Now button on the homepage. Until next time.